Hi everybody, it's Robert Somerville again, and this is the first of several videos that I'm going to be recording on the subject of link building or backlinks. Now, why would I be talking about this, you might ask? And in order to answer that question, I need to sort of fill you in on a bit of the context. So far in the 30-day challenge, we have taught you how to find a low competition but still good traffic keyword, which is also indicative of a market. And then, having chosen that keyword, which I think is a stage one process, shown you how to choose a hosting platform to place some copy or some content which is optimized for that keyword, which I think of as stage two. Now, in stage three, we've taught you some social networking strategies to tell the world that that content exists, but more importantly tell the search engines that that content exists, so that that content gets indexed and gets an initial ranking. Now, hopefully, if you've done your stage one work properly, your initial ranking will be good, preferably on the first page of Google, and as a consequence you should start to receive some traffic from the search engines, particularly Google, in relation to that keyword. Now, your content will almost certainly be promoting a product, probably an affiliate product, unless you've already got a product of your own to sell. And the goal is that from that initial traffic that you will get a sale within an acceptable number of page views of your money page. Now, I define a money page as the sales letter that promotes a particular product. Now, the milestone at the end of stage three that you really need to achieve is that you have an acceptable rate of conversion of sales in relation to the traffic that you're getting. And I like to think that an acceptable conversion is a sale every 200 to 300 clicks. Although, because the traffic you're getting is free, then you might even be prepared to extend that to a sale every 400 to 500 clicks. But until you reach or achieve an acceptable conversion, I wouldn't be doing too much more other than the odd bit of social networking to sort of ensure that you get the highest possible initial ranking. But once you have achieved that milestone, and you've justified to yourself that the traffic has a commercial value to you, then it's in your best interest to increase the amount of traffic that's coming to your hosting platform. And in relation to this strategy, you get more traffic by getting a higher ranking in search engines. And how do you get a higher ranking? Well, as the headline of this presentation states, it's the backlinks, stupid, which is a paraphrase of a Bill Clinton presidential campaign slogan. Now, backlinks or link building is otherwise known as off-page SEO, or off-page search engine optimization. And in order to achieve those backlinks, there are a number of strategies that we can employ which are considered to be acceptable. And what this presentation now will lead you through is a bit of a high-level overview of some of those strategies. And then I'll also do some more specific videos targeting some of those strategies specifically ongoing. So, without further ado, let's move forward. Now, firstly, I'd like to just offer a little bit of a disclaimer about some of the stuff I'm going to be talking about. Firstly, the strategies that I'll be talking about today are representative of some of the things that you can do, but they're not necessarily exhaustive. There are lots and lots of strategies that will result in a backlink. However, some of those strategies are not considered to be good practice, or are inappropriate in the eyes of the search engine. So now, in the sort of the vernacular of search engine marketers, those types of strategies that are considered to be kosher or good practice are known as white hat strategies. That's what I mean by the color of the hat. Strategies that are perhaps a little bit on the edge are grey hat, and those strategies that are definitely inconsistent with the terms and conditions of the search engines are known as black hat strategies. An example of a black hat strategy is cloaking, which is the practice of creating pages that are split. So pages that only the spiders see, and then pages that the human visitors see. And that's known as cloaking, and that's a black hat strategy. but also spamming your pages, your content pages, with large numbers of instances of your keywords is also pretty much universally viewed as a black hat strategy. So, as I say here, welcome to the world of search engine ethics. It's a minefield. Unfortunately, it's somewhat subjective. I believe the things that I'm going to be talking about today are reasonably perceived as being white hat link building strategies. But as the third point says, if you don't like them, don't use them. I think I've done a good job in sort of presenting the more sort of ethical strategies, but from your perspective, I may not have. And if you don't think that I have, then please only use the ones that you're comfortable with. Now, the terms of reference of the 30-day challenge is that everything is for free. Now, so therefore, the strategies I'm going to be talking about and some of the videos specific to those strategies are going to show the manual way of utilizing and implementing those strategies. The reality is that very few people actually use that manual way. Almost everybody uses software leverage, or indeed outsources the practice of link building to a third party. But in both of those cases, there's a cost involved. So whilst I will mention some software that is free, I won't be mentioning any of the services or software which has a cost. So you'll need to sort of move on in your education or participate in something like the Immediate Challenge, Immediate Edge to get access to some of those recommendations. And of course, like all things, some of particularly where there's a lot of subjectivity, some of the comments that I might make or the views that I might promote are my opinion, and I won't make any apology for that. It is as it is. But if you have if you don't agree with my opinion, then feel free to. I certainly respect that, and do what you will. Hopefully, though, that you will agree with most of what I have to say, and you can see the value of utilizing some of these strategies in the promotion of your website. All right, moving on. Search engines rank web pages in relation to a keyword based on their perception of the authority of that page in relation to that keyword. Now, there are a lot of definitions of authority, but I believe that particularly Google views authority in terms of predominantly in terms of the quantity and quality of the links that point to your website from websites that also have a quantity and quality of links pointing to them. So authority, if you have a website with a large number of good quality static one-way backlinks pointing to it, then Google will perceive that website has authority in relation to the keyword that website is optimized for. Link building, therefore, can then be considered to be the single most important element to obtaining and maintaining high rankings in all the major search engines. I mean, there are other factors that might lead to ranking. For instance, the age of the domain might be a factor. Certainly the on-page optimization that we've talked about earlier in the 30-day challenge has a factor in ranking as well. But as I'm sure you've observed when you were doing your competition analysis, that the websites that tend to rank highest for a keyword are the websites with the largest number of backlinks. So link building ultimately has the biggest effect on ranking. And of course, if you've got a higher ranking because you've got a higher perceived authority, then you will get more traffic, because the websites on the first page of Google, and particularly those in the first one or two positions, get most of the traffic or the free search engine traffic for that key phrase. But not all links are created equal. Link quality is equally, and this is particularly true of Google, if not more important than link quantity. And static one-way links are better than reciprocal links. Now, a static one-way link is a link from a website that points to you, but where you don't have a link on your website that points to them. That's a one-way link. A reciprocal link, therefore, is a link where you link to a website and they link to you. So from this perspective, if you have a link from a higher PageRank website, or therefore a website that has more authority, then that link has greater value to you than one from a lower PageRank website. Links from websites with the same theme relevance as the theme relevance of your website are also going to be more valuable and considered to be more relevant and more authoritative than links from websites that are completely irrelevant to the theme of your website. And links that contain the keyword phrase that your website is optimized for in the anchor text of the link are also more valuable and give you more credit than those that are just random. Now, what I mean by anchor text is the words that people use on their web pages that form the link back to you, and preferably you want those words that are used in the anchor text to be consistent with the keyword that you're optimizing your web page content for. And last but not least, links from certain domains are more valuable than others, and that's definitely true for .edu, which are academic domains, and .gov domains, which are government domains. If you can manage to get a link from those domains back to your website, that will be considered to have greater relevance and authoritative value than from just a standard .com domain. But they're much harder to get, and I will sort of have a video that will sort of talk about the acquisition of .edu and .gov domains, but they can be quite a challenge. All right, let's move on and discuss some white hat link building strategies. First thing I would suggest that you do is look to your competitors. As you go about your competition analysis, you can also use Yahoo, and I'll have a video showing you how to do this, to find out which websites link to the websites of your competitors. And as you go and review some of those links that they have, you might find websites where it's easy to place a link to your website, thereby giving you a foundation with which to compete with the other websites in your niche. As you go about the process of doing this, in fact, as you go about the process of creating all content that you use for the purposes of generating links, I highly recommend the use of a unique identifier, some keyword phrase that uniquely identifies you and your copy in relation to everybody else. And in the next slide, I'll talk about why that might be valuable. Now, obviously, right from the outset, if you've got websites that you control, preferably ones that are niche relevant, then always make sure that you take the opportunity of putting links on your own websites to the websites that you're trying to get ranked for a particular keyword. If you've got a blog, or if you've got other websites that might be partially or fully sort of relevant to your niche, then always make sure that you've got links from your websites to your own content. Now, that unique identifier that I was talking about, I use that in combination with a fantastic service from Google called Google Alerts. Now, Google Alerts is a free service provided by Google, where they will notify you by email when they find a website which incorporates a phrase that you might be interested in. Now, I use Google Alerts in two ways. The first way is to identify websites with content that I might be interested in within my niche. Ed has already showed you how to find blogs or other content sites, and then sort of subscribing to the RSS feed for those blogs in your newsreader, so that you can constantly revisit those websites and find content that might be relevant to your niche. But Google Alerts is more broad-ranging. It will notify you of any website that Google finds where it finds the keyword that you're interested in on those web pages, and then give you a link in the email to those web pages so that you can go and visit them easily. Now, if we take that principle further, and we're now creating content, link source content with a unique identifier in it, and we ask Google Alerts to notify us when it finds web pages with that unique identifier, then it's a way of tracking when Google finds our the pages which we create links on, or whether it finds content that incorporates our unique identifier where other people have picked up that content and put it onto their website. That means I can visit those pages very quickly, and then I can use social networking leverage, using social post or other social networking services, to increase the power of that link page back to us, and widen the distribution of that link page within the social networks online. Always make sure when you create content, either hosting content or linking content, that you use social networking strategies to widen the distribution of that content. Now, by far and away, the best way of building links is to create great, unique content that people just want to link to without you asking or requesting that they do so. If you create great content, then other people will think that as well, and they will provide a link on their websites to that content because their readership might be interested in that great content as well. Now, if you're in the business of creating great content, nobody ever said that you needed to place that content on one website only. And I think Ed has already mentioned in earlier videos the strategy of creating a series of portal websites that link to and are focused towards your main hosting content that's going to be your ranking vehicle in the search engines. And now those websites might be other Web 2.0 sites, it might be blogs, it might be forums, it might be other websites. But as you go about the process of populating those websites with content, always make sure that you link back to your main vehicle. And to this end, you have to then differentiate content that you create for the purpose of linking as distinct from content that you create for the purpose of hosting and acting as the main ranking vehicle in the search engines. Now, as you go about using those portal options, particularly the Web 2.0 options, do be mindful of the need to apply the leverage, the social networking leverage. So utilize RSS wherever you can, and make sure that you effectively tag your content so that it's recognized by and you're given credit in the main tagging engines like Technorati and so forth, so that will allow people to find your website when they're interested in particular keywords. That's what the purpose of tags is for. And also, when you're thinking about creating great content, it's not just text or documentary content. Don't forget audio and video as well. Sites such as YouTube and MySpace have tremendous amounts of human traffic, and you can create links back to your main hosting vehicles via content that you place on those platforms. Scribed is a service rather like YouTube for documents. So if you've created an ebook or some sort of summary report in your niche, then you can use a service like Scribed to get you some extra traffic and linkage. Now, within your niche, you're probably not going to be the only person creating great content. And as you go and visit other people that are within your niche, it's perfectly okay to make comment on their websites if they offer you that facility. And in those comments, place a subtle link back to your website. That is perfectly acceptable. And I submit to you that it's also quite natural. I mean, if you're interested in a particular subject area, you're not just going to look at the content you create, you're almost certainly going to look at other content online as well. And it's those people that created those websites might not be aware of your website, so it's totally reasonable for you to actually offer them a link back to your website so they can go and check out your great content. Now, opportunities in this arena include niche blogs that niche relevant blogs that other people may have created, forum communities that may have been set up for the purpose of giving people a way of sharing their views on particular niches with others. Some websites have guestbook functionality, which allow you to offer a comment or to give feedback on their content. And of course, other Web 2.0 sites such as Squidoo lenses and hub pages and so forth, where very often there's a place for you to create a comment where you can also link back to your website. Now, these can be very effective, and very oftentimes these Web 2.0 sites such as Squidoo and Hub Pages, the specific pages that you're commenting on often have pretty good page rank. Sometimes even as high as page rank 4 and page rank 5. So these comments, whilst they seem innocuous, they can be a very good quality link. Now, preferably, in a perfect world, we'd only have static one-way backlinks to our website, i.e. links from other websites that point to us, but where there's no link on our website pointing back to them. And that's certainly, Google would prefer you to have that. They give you much greater ranking credit for those types of links. But there is a strategy for creating reciprocal links by contacting other webmasters who have websites within your niche focus and requesting that they put a link on their website to you in return for you putting a link on your website to them. In Google, the value of those links has reduced, but in Yahoo and MSN, it still contributes to your overall link quantity, and therefore still has a value. If you're going to employ this strategy, do be careful to request that the webmasters of the other websites use your main keyword in the anchor text. I mean, if you're going to use this strategy, you want to make sure that you maximize the value of them as far as you possibly can. Now, we've already discussed the use of articles as a hosting platform or a ranking vehicle for your keyword. But if you've chosen to use another hosting platform like a blog or your own website, then the use of articles as a link source is an extremely powerful link building strategy. In fact, it's one that gives you tremendous leverage long term, because of the fact that if you write a great article, not only will you get a link from the article directory where you submit that article, but if somebody chooses to take that article and put it on their website, then you're also going to link from the distribution of that article as well. So articles and press releases, which work very similarly, it's just the format is a bit different, are a great way of getting maximum leverage from your content, and because those articles generally tend to be read by human beings, you can often get direct traffic back to your website as well. So it's a way of getting both links and direct traffic. I won't be doing a video on this particular strategy because it's no different to the use of articles, for hosting. Using articles for linking is exactly the same as doing it for hosting. So I've already created a video on that earlier in the 30-day challenge. Now, I highly recommend, as you go into stage 4, which is looking to actually build backlinks to your website for the purpose of improving your authority, that you submit your website to a range of directories and search engines. The big daddies of directories are DMOZ and Yahoo. Yahoo is a paid directory service. I think it's several $100s or more to get your website listed in the Yahoo directory. And DMOZ is a human moderated service, so it can be a little challenging. But if you do decide to go through the process of getting your website linked in those directories, they are very, very powerful links. But there are hundreds of, if not even thousands of other directories that you can submit your website to, and many hundreds of search engines as well. So over time, as you begin to submit your website to these directories, you will have a platform of links from these directories, which the search engine spiders do visit and give you credit for those links. Directories aren't really a great source of human traffic, apart from maybe the bigger directories, but the search engine spiders will give you credit for links in those directories. And don't forget, of course, RSS directories as well. If you're using a blog as your hosting platform, then that blog will almost certainly have an RSS feed, or there are services that allow you to create an RSS feed from a normal website. And there are a large number of directories set up for those RSS feeds, and that is a link as well. Even though a human might not follow that link, the search engine spiders do. And last but not least, here are some sort of other options for creating backlinks. Classified services like Craigslist. Craigslist is easily the most well known. The links tend to be temporary, they don't last forever, but there is a very large amount of human traffic trawling through the classified services, which makes it a very effective way of getting traffic as well as links. Highly recommend the use of Yahoo Answers. Yahoo Answers is the principal service for people to ask questions online, where other people can go and answer those questions, and in the process of answering those questions incorporate a link into the resource or source box of the answer. And the Yahoo Answers is heavily spidered by all the main search engines, and you will be given credit for those links. Also take a look at Google Groups and Yahoo Groups. Those types of services have declined a little over the last couple of years, but there's still a lot of traffic in that functionality, and some groups do allow you to make comments and incorporate backlinks. And the nice thing is that you can search those groups by niche relevance. So if you do manage to create a link, then it will be a niche relevant link within those groups. All right, well, that's the overview of the main strategies that I think that you might give some consideration to. But before we finish, I better talk about some things to avoid. Link farms are quite prevalent, but they're not particularly valuable. Link farms are sort of collections of websites where the content on those websites is merely links and nothing else. There's just no value in any of the content. It's just a collection of links that both interlink and link onto other websites. I think most people would probably agree that the quality of a link, if your link is in a link farm, is very, very low. In fact, to the extent where I really do recommend that you avoid them as far as possible. As mentioned earlier, try and make sure that your links only are on websites that are within your niche, or at least can be sort of related to your niche. If you have links on totally niche relevant websites, then that's not really going to do you much good. Try to avoid putting links on pages that are very deep in the site structure. When I mean this, with a domain with several folders and then the web page. If you've got a very deep link, it may be that the search engine spiders never actually indexed to that level of that website. So, and if the Google spiders or the search engine spiders don't find that page, then you won't ever be given credit for that link. So be cautious about that. Try to avoid PageRank 0 or websites that have been banned from Google. Any link on those sites is not going to give you any credit whatsoever, so they have little to no value. And certainly avoid websites that have a porn or gambling theme. Those links may actually cause you to be penalized, and it's not that they don't have any value, that they actually will have a negative value. And as you go about creating content for links, as you create forum posts or blog commenting or so forth, try and make sure that content is as unique as it can be, because you'd rather your links to be on primarily indexed pages rather than pages that go into the secondary index, because the content is considered to be duplicate. So these are some of the things that you might want to think about as you go about the process of creating backlinks. Now, the point I'm trying to make on this slide is that the purpose of our link building is to improve the perceived authority of our website in relation to our keyword. By having a greater authority, the search engines will give you higher ranking. By having higher ranking, you'll get more traffic. But the traffic comes from the search engine. It doesn't come necessarily through the links. Some link strategies, however, do have the potential to bring you direct human traffic. But this is the cream. This is a bonus. The main reason that we're talking about link building here is to improve your authority, your relevance in relation to the keyword. Please, use those strategies that have the potential also to bring you traffic, but do remember that we're mainly trying to build links. Now there are some other traffic generating strategies which are not related to link building, but nevertheless still have the potential to bring you traffic. Many of those, though, are really sort of possibly heading towards grey hat or possibly even black hat strategies, and several of them are very spammy in their sort of in their approach. So I don't intend to talk about those in this series of videos, and there are other places online that you might where you might find some education about using those sorts of traffic generating strategies, but we won't really be talking about those here. And last but not least, please do be very careful as you go about the process of building backlinks that the link acquisition can be viewed as being natural in the eyes of the search engines. What I mean by this is, if Google was suddenly to find an additional 200 or an additional 100 or 500 links pointing to your site over a very short space of time, that doesn't look natural. It doesn't look as though your website distribution is occurring organically by the sharing of great content by other people online. And if Google takes a view that your link building is not natural, then they may penalize your website by placing you into the sandbox. And Google Sandbox is a process whereby your website has been indexed, but it doesn't appear in the search engine results pages for the keyword that your website is patently optimized for. When Google sandboxes you in this way, it's either done so because it thinks that your link building strategies are inappropriate, or something has changed in relation to your content which causes it to be uncertain about the authority of your web content in relation to that keyword. And you won't come out of the sandbox until either the link network starts to settle down and look more appropriate in relation to Google's sort of policies in relation to link building, or the keyword relevance starts to be clearer from Google's perspective. So just be cautious. You don't need to build hundreds of links in one go. 2 or 3 links every other day, for a period of time until you've got an appropriate amount of backlinks to be able to compete effectively in your niche is all you need. Don't spam. In the end, it might give you a short-term benefit, but long-term, it'll always be negative. Last but not least, I thought that I would offer a document that is a bit of a resource for you in relation to the strategies and the definitions of some of the things that I've been talking about today. I found a document on Michelle McPherson's blog, which I regularly monitor. I think she has a great internet marketing related blog, and she put up this document by Luke Parker called the Encyclopedia of Free Online Advertising, which talks a lot and provides some great background information about some of the strategies I've been talking about, but it also goes into some other strategies too in terms of list building and traffic generating strategies. I think it's a great resource that you all might find useful as you begin to improve your knowledge and understanding of search engine marketing and link building strategies in particular. All right, well, that's it for this presentation. Hope you found that a useful overview of some of the things that you can do when you start thinking about building links and improving your authority for your keywords. And look out for some more specific videos on some of the specific strategies that I've discussed today. Okay, talk to you soon.